Good morning. We are going to create our eye look today from the Huda Beauty Obsessions Warm Brown palette. Take a sneaky peek at the color story. This is an older palette, um, so let's get into it. And while we're doing this, we're going to talk about the whole truth. And I'm going to talk about some things that I've been sitting on for quite some time because I'm done sitting on them. There you go. I have primed my eyes with the Sigma eye primer in Radiance. We're going to just kind of chatter as we do this. You're going to hear me kind of fumble around with brushes because that's just how it works. We're going to start off in, it's kind of a toss-up. You're going to hear Mayor tearing up a toy. We're going to start off here. And I'm trying to think of the nicest way to present this as I possibly can. And it's just not going to be real nice. So bear with me on that. See, here's the thing. I talked about my car left yesterday. And for the first time since the accident, because my husband has handled most everything, I'm just going to tell you that I hope my insurance company does not treat people like this insurance company has treated us. I understand that they have procedures and all that neato stuff that they do. Not knocking that. I have not asked for, we did not ask for medical. And let me preface this by, I'm sorry, took this just to go over and more into the crease. Let me preface this by saying there's a lot of things that we could have done that could have cost that insurance company more money, which would result in more damages and more for the person who was not driving the car, but was the person paying the insurance, would cost them more money. We intentionally tried to do things mindfully of a cost that was being incurred, that she wouldn't, from the night everything happened. We were able to avoid a tow fee from jump just because my husband is good at what he does. And he was able, with the police officer's help, to limp the car down the driveway versus it being towed and that cost being incurred to the party that's paying for my car. We're going to go into this shade that I may or may not like. This is a warm brown palette. This has a lot of, it says pinky and red tones to it, or pinky red, I guess is the right way to put it. So anyway, and I'm probably not going to do much editing on this, so if you watch it, get comfy. put it on in the background, what have you. Um, some of the things that have been said to us have just been outrageously you just kind of, I've just sat there and gone, are you kidding me? We were hit. We technically, for we are one of the victims of bad choices, going into this dark brown, made by a young girl. Now, I said at the onset of this, and I still maintain that, although things could have been done a lot better if she'd been going 25 miles per hour, which is the posted speed limit, a couple of things would have happened. I'd still have my car. It might be damaged, but I'd still have my car. The reason why I bring that up is because it was said that they weren't going all that fast. Okay, you weren't going all that fast, but the first impact didn't stop you. The second impact didn't stop you. If you were going 25 miles per hour or 35 miles per hour, which is this posted speed limit on up the road, if they were slowing down like they should have been slowing down to the 25 mile per hour zone, going right here, I'm sorry, right here, and I'm just going with my finger, just kind of place that up here. If that had been the case, which should have been slowing down to go 25. If that had been the case, they'd have had more control over the vehicle, number one, obviously. It was said that we pulled out and didn't move. We didn't do anything to keep them from hitting us. I don't know. I don't. That mentality. And let me explain to you why that perception is there. Not done with the eye look, just I need two hands. As the car comes back over on and hits us, for after it sideswiped our neighbors, and she swerved and hit us, we pulled over because that's the law. That's what you do when there's an accident. You pull over, you get out, you wait for a police officer, exchange information, all of those things. So we pulled over. So where she's getting the we didn't move, we were out of the way. We were off the side of the road. First thing we did after we made sure all of us were okay was go to render aid to them, to include me standing in front of oncoming traffic to keep another vehicle from rolling up on her. Okay, back to the eyes, because I'm trying real hard not to. I'm talking about this, I'm letting this all out, and it's the whole truth. There's camera footage. How you gonna, there's camera footage. I'm just kind of fixing. Did I mention there's camera footage? So, and I'm sorry, but this whole thing has just the links that, and I get, don't get me wrong whenever I say this, I get what people's jobs are. Accident happened on a Monday night. Tuesday afternoon, I had the police report in my hand, which is usually not something that happens. It's usually a few days that you have to wait for the police report. Um, However, this one was done. They were able to get it done rather quickly. They knew there was nothing. There was nothing to dispute. Um, there were no skid marks. The witnesses never saw brake lights. They literally mentioned that. And I understand that while I'm saying this and while I have a level of frustration, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of this shimmer in the middle on my finger. And just kind of work that around. Understand that what I'm saying here is I'm frustrated and aggravated with these young girls. And the biggest reason is just admit it. It's been proven. Camera footage, witness statements. It's been proven that you were at fault. Just own it. Don't try to throw it back on the people that you did damage to. They caused a loss. 3 vehicles toast that night. So to say, and I'm at my wit's end with trying to explain, because the girl said, well, on the police report, it shows that you pulled out in front of us. No, it doesn't. I have that police report. It shows, because see, if I'd have pulled out in front of somebody, where you hit would have been totally different. We're not dumb. Am I implying that the other person is? No. What you take away from that, you take away from it. I don't think they were dumb. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think that they thought they were going to, they thought that if they said it enough, said it loud enough, and all that neat stuff, that it would change the outcome of the series of events. Sorry, it did not. Ever so thankfully, I hate that my car is gone. I really, really, really hate it. I don't want to go car shopping even now. I've seen a couple of things that have kind of like caught my eye. But I had the car that I wanted. So why would I take a chance on losing it? I didn't. I pulled out with plenty of room, plenty of time to do what we normally do. We had enough time. We had plenty of time to pull over in front on the side of the road like we usually do. We had enough time to pull into the driveway. My husband pulls over to the side, waits for traffic to clear, and backs in. We had enough time to do either one. One of our witnesses was the driver of the car that was immediately coming our direction, who said right off the bat, you had plenty of time, dude. You didn't do anything wrong. First thing on the scene, police officer says, we've got witness accounts that the car was driving recklessly. There's camera footage. So when this person comes up to and says these things to me, if they inquired about if we were okay in the ambulance, they did. I can't dispute that. I don't dispute that. What they don't own up to, which goes back, if you watch the video devotional that I posted this morning, it talked about the whole truth. What they are not doing is telling the whole truth. Does it matter to me that they ask if we were okay? Yes, it does. That's a human, that's empathy. That's showing me something. That's a good thing. I appreciate that. When I responded to them, it was very simple. It was like, I don't know what you expect to hear at this point. Because despite the fact of all of the evidence that is laid in front of you, you're misinterpreting a police report by big time. There were witness accounts that said, there's camera footage that said, that showed. There's camera footage as to what happened in front of my house. And to say that the car is drivable, it was, because my husband is good at what he does. It was able to be limped down the hill and parked behind my car, which saved a tow fee that would have been added to the list of damages. So, yeah. So, I'm a little, I guess, out of sorts, for lack of a better way of putting it. Still trying to lay the blame on the party that is without blame, the injured party. It's kind of the equivalent of saying that the way somebody was dressed invited certain behaviors. And that's not a real good analogy to use, but it kind of is. To tell somebody who is a victim of your poor choices and your bad behavior that there was something they could have done to have prevented it is ridiculous. It's really hard to do something. The rate of speed that this vehicle was traveling at, the person that they passed did not even have time to blow the horn before they hit us. That person was visibly shaken, tore up, upset. He just witnessed a horrific accident, one that could have very easily been worse. I am thankful, and I will say this, I hate that my car is gone. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I probably won't ever quit hating it. But it was either, if the car hadn't been hit the way that it was hit, because it warped the frame, as as time settled and my brain started, I had a concussion. As my brain started getting back to normal, for lack of a better way, where, there was reason and the ability to reason, as all of that started happening, each time I would walk out, which is several times a day because of the dog, but each time that we would walk out and I would look at the car, I would see more damage, even though, because the back door didn't shut all the way, my husband put a tarp over it to protect the interior, because that's what we do. He we originally were going to buy the car back. I wish that had been a possibility. The more that we looked at it, like I said, the more that we went around it, there's nothing holding the passenger side wheel on. The control arm is dragging the ground. The suspension is garbage. Um, the frame is bent, warped, and all of that would not have happened at the posted speed limit. It would not have. Physics, logistics, math, basic math. If they had been going 25 miles an hour or slowing down to the 25 mile per hour speed limit from 35, they might have hit us, but they wouldn't have totaled my car. And I hope that still, my hope in all of this is that this is a turning point for them. It's what I said again, that they make better choices, because that night was extremely expensive for someone. There was a tow bill, medical bill, police, fire, all that good stuff. That bill, EMS transport bill, 3 totaled vehicles. 3 totaled vehicles. None of that would have happened at 25 miles per hour or 35 miles per hour. There would have been damage, but there would not be 3 totaled vehicles. That is the whole truth about the accident. The whole truth is that my family did nothing wrong. In fact, we did everything possible right. We tried to render aid. We made sure, we did all the things. From the moment that we knew that there was going to be an expense, and we knew that the expense was not going to be on us, we did everything in our power to minimize the expense. And while this may seem like a nothing burger to a lot of people, it's a whole lot of a burger to me. If my husband had been in the wrong, I would tell you he was in the wrong, because I'd tell him he was in the wrong. Wasn't. I looked at that car, and I looked at that car, and I looked at that car. And every time I looked at that car and seen more and more damage, closer and closer to where my grandson was sitting, Not only was there anger, there is gratitude. We pray before we leave this house every time over our trip. And I believe, you can disagree, but I believe that if it had not been for the hand of God holding our family, that my boy would have been hurt really bad, if not killed. And I'm thankful that it's not that way. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm rambling and I'm not getting the rest of my face put on, and that needs to happen. So I'm going to do that off camera. Thank you for listening. The eye look that I created was with the Huda Beauty Warm Brown Obsessions palette. It is an older palette, and it's still one that's in my collection, and I still love it. See you. Bye.